I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. The beginning and the end.
Here we stand, worlds apart, hearts broken in two.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keane from God TV Radio. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I know I am. The drunken peasants are dead. They have faded into irrelevant. I predicted this, did I not? I told you all that once the Amazing Atheist left, and also whenever I was no longer a guest of the show would die a slow, horrid death. Look at this guy. 2 weeks ago, he only got 2,000 views. You remember the good old days whenever Keane was on the show and the Amazing Atheist, us cracking jokes back and forth at each other, and the channel was making 400 to almost 1 million fucking views every time myself and the Amazing Atheist was on there. Did I not say that once Scotty and TJ left, it'd be over? Well, Scotty's still the shadow of TJ. He's going to go wherever TJ goes, even if that means in the toilet to drop a deuce. Ben, I told you you had no talent. I told you you had no abilities. You are not star material. You are fucking dirt beneath our feet. And you have sunk. The only toughness or badassery about you is the fact that you screw around with underage girls while your wife sits at home laying in the bed all fucking day, as you put it, waiting for her rat-faced Splinter lookalike from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to return. Or wait a minute, I could be wrong about that. She left you, didn't she? So not only have you lost your fan base, but you've also lost the girl. And now that you're not getting any views and the Amazing Atheist isn't attracting anybody to the channel, I guess it's tough getting those underage dates as well, right? 2,000 views on your videos. Remember that, though? 400,000 views. Even with Billy the Fridge sitting there going, yeah, on the mic, and doing his rap. Even with Pimp Monk X, who has to get high before he even gets on the show just so he can put up with your stupidity and your dull bullshit and your dumbass segments. You have failed, Ben. You know what? There is one single negative thing to all this, though. There's one single thing that makes me sad, Ben. It's the fact that I challenged you to a friendly sparring match, and we know what that means when I say friendly sparring match, Ben. Right in my front yard. TJ Kirk could have held the microphone and the camera, or Pimp Monk X could have held a Subway in one hand and a camera in the other, with you and I. You bragged and boasted about all this karate shit. You think that you're Keanu Reeves of The Matrix or something, just not as nice. That you were going to pound an old man into the fucking dirt. Well, we didn't see that happen either, did we? And I don't think we're going to see it, because someone's got no fucking balls. In fact, I've been looking all over the place for your balls, but they're little tiny mouse balls. Very hard to find. I'll have to put on my magnifying glass and look further. Surely I'll find them one day, unless they shriveled up even more. But Ben, it really makes me happy. Every time I go over to your irrelevant channel and look, I see that you get lower and lower in the subscription base. And no matter how many little turd burglars you bring on the show, they can't even match even half of the fucking views that I brought in The Amazing Atheist. You know one thing about The Amazing Atheist that I like, though? I'm going to tell you all something about him. Even though he's a fat, scummy bastard, and I've made fun of him for sticking bananas up his ass and cocoa oil all over his tiny little micro balls, I really believe that if any of the former drunken peasants or deep fat fried were to ever actually show up, if I could actually rely on one guy to have, well, I can't say balls, to actually show up, the guts, it would have been T.J. Kirk. Paul's ego, he can barely roll his ass off of his fucking rugged carpet. Well, Billy the Fridge, I think that there might be a little bit of OG gangsta in him. I can't say that. I can't say Pimp Monk X would show up because he's too high to even fucking be able to stay awake during the Drunken Peasants on the microphone. So, yeah, I don't think he'd stand a chance. I'd probably hand him a fucking bag of potato chips, tell him to sit there and shut the fuck up while I deal with your punk ass, Ben. 2,000 views. Did you know that videos that I've made a couple months ago to The Amazing Atheist actually have way more views than the Drunken Peasants have now? And I know you're probably going to say, but what about all the subscribers I got? It shows that you have substantially lost a great deal of subscribers since TJ left, and it's been disintegrating ever since. But you'll still compare your subscribers to mine and shit, thinking that you actually know how many subscribers I actually have. And I'll tell you this, most of them are dead, and you know it. And the other ones are just simply bots that you bought it from a bunch of Asians and shit in order to make the channel look better than what it is. Oh, one last thing I wanted to point out to you. I realize that Mr. Repsian and Onision might be going to court over some DMCA videos. And I know in your delusion mind you think that Mr. Repsian may have a case, but I'm wondering what that is. Because, as far as I know, fair use means that it's either a parody, educational, teaching purposes, things like that. The guy spending all of his time going after Onision's marriages and his wives and all this kind of shit, I don't really see how that could go well in front of most likely a Christian judge, in front of a bunch of religious people, most likely lawyers, how they're going to feel about that. But, you know, Mr. Repsian's also been a pretty delusional guy throughout his entire life. I mean, there's been a couple times where that guy hated himself so much, even worse than he hates Onision, and put a fucking gun in his mouth on video. Everybody remember that? Wasn't that something? And the atheist actually encouraged him to do it. That's how fucking little they care and respect for each other. Is what it is. Well, goodbye, Ben. I won't be attending your virtual internet funeral. Well, I might piss on the grave of it, but that's about it. God bless.